From the dawn of human history, mankind has sought meaning beyond the material world. This quest has given rise to a multitude of beliefs known as religion. Religions comprise a collection of beliefs, values, and practices that guide individuals in answering profound questions about existence, life, and death. NVIDIA will explore some of the most significant religions and their influence on human history and culture. To begin, we should ask ourselves a foundational question: where did religion originate? Around 500 years before Christ, a reputedly wise individual grew weary of the prevailing conditions in China and chose to leave. This person's departure was motivated by a belief in the superiority of his ideas, which he felt deserved dissemination. This eminent philosopher was known as Master Kong, and his teachings continue to influence the lives of people today. For instance, this individual's philosophy centers on loyalty, which he believes has diminished in China, leading to a rise in corruption. Ultimately, the modern world is indebted to his ideology and, subsequently, to his disciples. If we talk more about the name of this master, we can say that he was called Kung Fu in China. In the West and internationally, he is known as Confucius. This video begins with his name to underscore the significance of an individual's influence through his thoughts, his disciples, and his followers on humanity as a whole. But what does this truly signify? Historical evidence suggests that Confucius' ideas and philosophies were so compelling to his followers that they elevated him to a divine status, illustrating the significance of formulating thought for the first time. These concepts were so impactful during that historical period that scholars have termed it the pivotal era. The period in question is known as the Axial Age. It began approximately 500 years before Christ and lasted until the onset of the Common Era. The significance of the Axial Age arises from several factors. Firstly, the influential sages and philosophers of this time were distributed across Eurasia, often located in regions that bordered each other geographically. That is, they engaged in trade or exerted influence over one another. Now the second reason. The second reason is that the philosophies of that era laid the groundwork for subsequent ideas that persist to this day. For instance, religions, scientific principles, philosophies, and numerous other aspects of our current world originated from that period and have been passed down through generations to the present. Now, what is the third reason? The disciples of ancient sages documented their sayings and teachings, leading to the creation of books that have served as references for human thought and are still taught today. Moving forward, we will delve into a broader and more detailed discussion, examining the thought processes of great figures such as Zoroaster, Buddha, Confucius, and others, exploring the nature of their thinking. We shall proceed to describe who these individuals were, their names briefly, and their places of residence before delving into their ideas and influences. Beginning with historical accounts, who were the early thinkers and influencers during this critical period? At the end of the 7th century and the beginning of the 6th century BC, a famous man and sage lived in Iran named Zoroaster. Regrettably, the texts ascribed to Zoroastrianism have been significantly altered and have become outdated. However, the practices of Zoroastrian followers and scholars, which persist to this day, suggest that the Zoroastrian faith posited a cosmic battle between good and evil as the genesis of our world. Ahura Mazda, revered as the sole benevolent creator, is believed to manifest in fire and light, rendering fire sacred within Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrianism is fascinating because its beliefs have persisted in Iran for over a millennium. These beliefs are so impactful that Zoroastrian followers still exist today, and their influence has extended well beyond their own time, particularly at the end of the 7th century AD. For 1,000 years, Zoroastrianism has significantly influenced numerous religions across Eurasia and has played a role in shaping new religious movements. This is considered the earliest wisdom in history. Now, journeying to India 500 years before Christ. We encounter a man named Vardhamana, also known as Mahavira, who established a religion known as Jainism. The general point of view of this ritual is that it says that you should practice austerity to free the soul from evil, but the image you should draw in your mind of austerity is more than hunger and thirst. Historians probably considered it peculiar that this ritual stayed within India and did not spread elsewhere. Moving on, at the dawn of the 4th century BC in India, there lived a sage named Gautama Hartay, who established a faith that eventually grew to be a global religion. Gautama Hartay initiated a tradition, proclaiming it as the secret to a better life. Interestingly, it did not heavily focus on religious practices or thought. Yet, his followers transformed it into a religion, dubbing it Gautamaru, Buddha, signifying enlightenment. The Buddha taught that happiness can be attained through meditation, worship, and selfless actions. This is akin to the Zoroastrian tenet that emphasizes the importance of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Another notable aspect of Buddhism is the absence of the concept of a soul. Buddhists do not believe in a soul's existence. Instead, they hold that upon death, a person is reborn into another body. This belief extends to the idea that an individual's actions in life can influence their form of existence in the next life, determining whether they will be reborn into a higher or lower status. Indeed, various religions in India have embraced the concept of reincarnation, yet it is a particularly strong belief within Buddhism. To illustrate, consider a saying from Buddhist teachings: a person who has led a virtuous life and performed numerous good deeds may be reborn as a powerful emperor, ruling over thousands and potentially retaining memories from past lives. Well, we talked about it too. Let's go in this direction and reach China and the 4th century BC. At that time, a wise person had advice that invited people to liberation, and its essence was liberation. The example of this person was water, and he considered water sacred, and the reason for his view was that water is powerful, and he said that water is so powerful that even when it gets stuck behind a big rock, it finds its way. The narrative suggests that all religions have bolstered the efficacy of human morality, contributing to their swift rise in popularity. In summary, it is evident that before these religious practices, the prevailing belief was that humans should solely serve their deities, with human significance relegated to the afterlife. However, with the advent of new religions, the perception of humanity enhanced, focusing more on human conduct in this life, marking a departure from the previously earth-centric religious views.